thunder of silence, light after Dharma rain. Om Amoka Vairachana Maha Mudra Manipama Chabala Pravataya.
Please stand, and as you stand, smooth out your mat, fluff up your cushion. We will now go for refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. First in Sino-Korean, in keeping with our tradition, and then in English. The Sino-Korean is a chant. If you are new to this, remember that this is a sound practice. It is a sister of meditation. So just once you figure out what we're doing, just throw your voice in and be aware of how your voice works with the voices of others to create Sangha. And now in English, please repeat after me. I go for refuge to the Buddha,
I go for refuge to the Buddha,
my deeply awakened mind,
my deeply awakened mind,
which must be cultivated to be known fully.
which must be cultivated to be known fully.
I go for refuge to the Dharma,
I go for refuge to the Dharma,
truth manifesting everywhere,
truth manifesting everywhere,
which must be cultivated
which must be cultivated
to be known fully.
to be known fully.
I go for refuge to the Sangha,
I go for refuge to the Sangha,
deep interdependence of all beings,
deep interdependence of all beings,
which must be cultivated to be known fully.
which must be cultivated to be known fully.
Now a dedication to honor our ancestors. On this 26th day of July in the year 2026, we acknowledge that this land where our temple buildings stand has been the home of Native peoples, the Potawatomi, the Odawa, and the Ojibwe, the Council of the Three Fires, and also of Black Americans. We know that this neighborhood was a historically Black neighborhood during times of legally sanctioned racial segregation and oppression. For our own awakening and for the awakening of all life, may the benevolent energies of our meditation, chanting, and full presence here at this service this morning extend to all beings on this planet and throughout time and space. May there be a deepening of our interbeing. May peace prevail and wars cease. Let us sit in meditation once again for a shorter period this time. Now to bring movement back into our bodies, please follow along in these simple stretches. Be aware of your breath as you stretch. Testing. No. No. Yes. Hello? The mic is not working. Is the mic working now? No? Well, I can speak loudly. Good morning, precious Sangha. My name is Tongsan. I'm one of the teachers here. Get my act together. So it's been a weekend, huh? At least if you're a townie, you know that there's been stuff going on. Our little bubble of a town blew up to twice its size this weekend, in case you didn't notice. We had 2 nights of Morgan Wallen and associated musical acts. We had 2 6-hour concerts running well past many of our bedtimes. There were fireworks. There were lots of people wearing cowboy boots and cowboy hats. They were not dressed like Ann Arborites. Did you notice? And then before that, it's been a summer, huh? The World Cup. Cities around the world blew up to bigger than usual with passionate fans from other countries. Here, in a nation whose government declares that by expelling and using deadly force against migrants, it is, and I'm quoting, protecting the American people against invasion, the response was surprising. The Scots who invaded Boston, for example, they were not dressed like most Bostonians. The kilts were a dead giveaway. But the Bostonians welcomed them. The mayor called it a peaceful invasion of the Tartan army. Lawrence, Kansas, adopted Algeria's national soccer team and their fans as their own. Residents and local groups organized community-wide cultural, French, Arabic, and halal cooking classes. Local businesses decorated storefronts with Algerian flags and bilingual welcome signs in English and Arabic. Let me say that again. Bilingual welcome signs in English and Arabic. Now, I'm too tired and too angry about the general state of things to get all kumbaya on you and say that all we have to do is hold hands and everything will be better. There are still soccer hooligans. The internet is full of hate about Argentina. The nation is still viciously divided. But there is good Dharma here. And by here, I mean the blown open bubble. There is good Dharma in the blown open bubble. I know it from my own experience. So, I'm not a sports fan. Everything I know about the World Cup I learned from my partner in the internet. But I am a fan of a kind of ancient American folk music, and people who know me, you can roll your eyes and put your fingers in your ears now because I talk about this all the time. I'm a fan of an ancient kind of American folk music called Sacred Harp or Shape Note. This is not concert music. If you hear it in a concert, you're hearing it wrong. It's for singing. It's not for listening, it's for singing. And for singing in 4-part harmony at the top of your lungs. People who love this kind of singing really love it. I mean, really, really, really love it. There are all-day singings that run for 6 hours, like the Morgan Wallen concert, and almost as loud. All-day singings, they're an important part of the tradition since like the 1830s. They draw passionate singers from all over the country. We, because I'm one of them, we invade the host town with our songbooks in hand, and we're welcomed by local singers. They give us coffee and donuts and water, and they feed us lunch. No one is turned away, no matter how they're dressed or what color their hair is. So what we're singing at the top of our lungs are Christian hymns. You'd think that would bother this committed Buddhist, rather traumatized by her Christian upbringing. You'd think it would bother me, but it doesn't. I don't believe every word I'm singing, but I believe in the music. And I believe in what it does to me and to the singers as a community, to all of us. We don't sing facing an audience. We sing facing each other. So it's 4 parts, and the 4 parts face each other in a hollow square. We sing facing each other. We see each other's faces. And when we're really rocking together, and the crunchy harmonies are mighty, and the harmonies are weird. This is not the hymn singing you grew up with if you're a Christian. Like, it's not polite at all. There are lots of dissonances. The harmonies are really crunchy, and everybody is singing at the top of their lungs, and it is mighty. When that's happening, I can see the joy on other singers' faces, and they can see it on mine. And then we do that for 3 hours. And then the local singers give us a meal. And we all sit down, we eat it together. And then we get up and do it again for another 3 hours. So I've been to 2 such singings this summer. One in rural Alabama and one in rural South Indiana. These are both places where I kind of stick out like a sore thumb. But I'm welcomed. Some singers learn from their grandparents and their families have been singing it forever. Some singers first heard this music in the movie Cold Mountain. It came out in the late 90s and is still drawing people to the tradition. Some singers. Does this work now?
It's working.
Hello. Is it? You have to turn it on. It works better if you turn. I don't have to use my sacred harp voice anymore. Oh, that's fine. Have I done that? No, I have not done that right. Have I done it right now? Good God. Really? How about that? Oh, yeah. Okay. So where was I? Some singers learned this music from their grandparents, and they've been singing it forever. Some people learned it from Cold Mountain. Some singers are devoted Christians. A lot are not. There are church dresses and ties, but there are also tats and piercings and dyed hair. So at a singing, looking out from my blue Ann Arbor bubble, I might label that singer over there as Alabama church lady. I could be suspicious of her. I could tell myself stories about who I think she voted for and the rights that I think she wants to take away from me and from people I love. And looking out from her bubble, whatever it might be, she might suspiciously tell herself stories about Yankee carpetbaggers with short hair and no makeup. Looking out from our bubbles, we can tell all sorts of suspicious stories about each other. But there's no room for those stories when we sing. I can see the joy in the face of that woman I labeled Alabama church lady, and she can see the joy in mine. Our voices harmonize with each other and with all the other voices in the room. Harmony, musical and social. even when the harmonies are dissonant and they're written on the page as dissonant, it's still harmony. And like I said, it's mighty. The tradition wants this to happen. Harmony, musical and social. There's actually an unwritten policy, and maybe it's written someplace, but there's an unwritten policy about these all-day singings. No discussion of politics or religion. It never happens. There's just singing. And over lunch, we talk about the weather, we talk about the songs, we talk about the food, we talk about movies. And then we get up and do it again. So if I run into the woman I initially labeled Alabama church lady at the town diner after I've sung with her, she's not going to be Alabama church lady anymore. She's going to be, that's the lady who really got into X song. Again, I want to stress that I'm not saying that all the world's problems can be solved if we just hold hands and sing and watch soccer or sing Amazing Grace together. I am saying that regular practice in the blown open bubble is good Dharma practice. I'm also saying that regular practice of Sangha is good Dharma and good Dharma practice. Not just practice in Sangha, which we've done this morning, but practice of Sangha. What do I mean by that? Practice in Sangha, to me, means I'm sitting here doing my own practice and I'm feeling strengthened by the individual practice of everybody else. And that's a beautiful thing. I'm not dissing that at all. But practice of Sangha is something, it's the collective activity itself. So practice in is Tongsan sitting here trying to do her wadu, trying to keep present and feeling strengthened by everybody else's efforts to follow their breath and do their practice and stay right here, right now. That's practice in Sangha, and it's a beautiful thing. Practice of Sangha depends on that, but it's the collective activity itself. Does that make sense? So something happens in the practice of Sangha that doesn't happen anywhere else. When my attention is not on self, my voice, my sight reading skills, good or bad, my practice, good, in quotes, or bad, in quotes. When my attention is not on self, but rather on the thing that's happening right here, right now, that's what it is. The thing that's happening as a result of what all of us beings are doing together. Self falls away. And we can really feel and know the suchness that sustains us and connects us. Japanese Zen master Dogen said it like this: to forget the self is to be actualized by myriad things. When actualized by myriad things, your body and mind, as well as the bodies and minds of others, drop away. No trace of realization remains, and this no trace continues endlessly. It It can happen at a Morgan Wallen concert. It can happen in a soccer match. It can happen in art making. It can happen on retreat. It can happen at Peace Camp. And you're going to hear about Peace Camp in a little bit. It can happen anywhere that collective commitment to the good and the wholesome loosens our individual grip on our little selves. When our ego bubbles get busted. Interbeing. It's not just good sense, it's the law. The Buddha himself says so in the first chapter of the Dhammapada. In this world, hate never yet dispelled hate. Only love dispels hate. This is the law, ancient and inexhaustible. You too shall pass away. Knowing this, how can you quarrel? Sangha is a refuge, real refuge. And yes, the Buddha Dharma Sangha, what we're making here, what's made in Buddhist communities around the world, yes, that's the refuge. And it's sacred. But let's not forget the wider Sangha too. Sacred Harp singers and everyone that they love. They're my Sangha. The Morgan Wallen fans are my Sangha too. Even though I dropped a few choice swear words when the concert didn't stop at 11:30 on Friday night as it was supposed to. But they are my Sangha. Their joy cost me my sleep, but they're my Sangha. Sangha is not always snuggly. It's not always kumbaya. It is a precious refuge. But we should not mistake it for a comfy bubble. 'Cause it ain't. In his book, Good Citizens, Thich Nhat Hanh says, and I'm quoting him now, the collective energy of the Sangha helps us to transform more quickly. Sometimes something can carry us away in a bad direction, I think he means. But thanks to the collective practice, we can regain our solidity. Even if we're distracted, Sangha can help us remember to come back to the present moment, to touch what is positive, to touch our own peace, and to see how to undo the difficulty. He goes on to say, we need to liberate ourselves from our too busy lives. We want to help others, but often we're so busy running around, we feel we don't have time to do anything else. We can reorganize our individual and collective lives in order to be with each other in a more beneficial and intimate way. Here's that important last sentence again. We can reorganize our individual and collective lives in order to be with each other in a more beneficial and intimate way. I resolve to practice Sangha outside my comfort zone. I resolve to practice Sangha outside my bubble. There is time now for reflection, conversation, bubble busting.
Hello.
Morning.
Being at work, I was definitely being super judgmental of the concert for sure, and people at my job were joking that, like, get ready for the Morgan Build the Wall in concert. And yeah, I feel like I have a lot of ideas about the authenticity, the country authenticity of the concert goers and the cowboy hats and everything, but it's just me being very judgmental. And it doesn't really matter because it's over now. But I can still talk to any number of the lovely young ladies that come into my store and tell them that they look so stinking cute with their cowboy hat and their like tutu. It's adorable, I feel like whenever I have thoughts about someone or am intimidated by someone or something, especially in a work context, I'll often find myself complimenting them about something. And to me, that really helps. That's probably, just reminding myself to be kind. But I don't know anything about these people. They're probably just as morally ambiguous as I am, so.
Good morning.
Morning.
I can't say that I had the pleasurable experience of the Morgan Wallace concert, but yesterday I went to the Chinatown Festival, which is a great opportunity to experience a lot of different people and another culture. But I had a very judgmental moment. I met the proprietor of a restaurant who was very happy to like greet people outside and very proud of what he called a Zen garden. And, very proud of like bulldozing the neighborhood for development and very proud of the history of the opium dens and, living in judgment about that. I feel like there was like a lot of, I don't know, Schadenfreude maybe, but I think it's probably more important to try and experience the joy that's going to come out of that when that area is developed as opposed to what it is now, which is just a lot of emptiness, is I think where I'm taking this.
There's a beautiful line in in an early Buddhist poem from China called the Xin Xin Ming that says, "This tiresome practice of judgment brings annoyance and weariness." Just saying.
This past January, my neighbor was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and I hadn't really spoken to her before, other than a couple of conversations where I got to learn that she is the most pleasant, friendly woman in the world. And quickly over the 2 months of the course of her cancer, we got to meet her sister and both of her parents, who are farmers in Iowa, and the entire family is extremely devoted Christians. And I had the sense not to ask any questions that I didn't want to know the answers to, because I figured that, especially her parents, if we had met in a different circumstance, it would have been pretty contentious. But the circumstance in which we met was the love that we both had for their family member and my neighbor, and how much we cared about her animals because she cared about them. And when we went to her funeral, it was this massive church that was so full they had to use the overflow rooms with TVs set up because so many people had been impacted by her kindness and her joy, which was 100% for them, in the Christian context, which the words and the context that I would use are different, but the feeling is not. The amount of love is not different. And it made me feel extremely connected to all these people who normally I probably wouldn't have met or wouldn't have spoken to, because whatever labels or words are used, the important thing was the love that was felt and that was shared.
Thank you very much for the Dharma talk this week. In the Dharma Party, it says, when the world dissolves, everything becomes clear. And in my meditation experience, they're talking about the world of judgments, views, opinions, and concepts. When that disappears, it becomes crystal clear. Last week, Jagwa did a talk about consciousness. And when I went home, I reflected on what she said, that we have an expanded consciousness and deepened awareness, and it's manifesting itself in these so-called human forms, and ain't nothing beyond that. So I live according to my precepts, so I can be an expression of my true Buddha nature. Thank you.
Amen, as they say.
We had this project to transform the front of this building on Packard. Maybe you've seen it. It's beautiful. And it took a whole Sangha a couple of weeks to do. And sometimes I feel old and I can't do as much as I could do years ago. But I threw myself in and I was surprised how much more energy I got to be a part of the Sangha rather than struggling on my own. So when we There's this expression, how do you save a single drop of water? Who's got the answer?
Throw it in the ocean.
Throw it in the ocean. It's a kind of throw yourself into Sangha, which comes up in all kinds of different ways. There's not one Sangha. We're part of many interconnected Sanghas all the time. 3 chairs.
We as humans have so much in common with each other. We have also a lot in common with the environment, other animals, insects, everything. And then so much of the theme of people's lives, unfortunately, ends up being based on pride, where you're separating yourself from other people, or judgment, where you're separating yourself from other people. Those are both symptoms that don't look at the commonality of everything going on, which really makes things a lot more peaceful if you're not too proud or too angry, too judgmental, something like that. It's not something which is good inside you, and it's not good for the community.
Thank you. This is my second time here, and I just want to say how joyful I feel to be here.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much. I was thinking about how, for me, the activator of judgment is often fear, self-centered fear. It's very much self-focused. And usually it's about what I'm going to get from a situation. And when I can flip that around, it really shifts things, right? When I can think about what can I add and bring to a situation to connect with people, as you said, the interdependence. So I just want to thank you very much for that today. Really connected. Thank you.
I can feel the fear when I walk into a rural singing in Alabama. It's like, whoa. And there is a part of me that goes, enemy territory. I'm not proud of that, but I feel it. And then I sing at the top of my lungs. And then it's no longer enemy territory.
One thing that I try to do when I feel like I'm judging others or, just creating some biasy is to observe myself and reflect on it. So if I see somebody wearing cowboy boots and, Daisy Duke shorts, like if I have a, thought about what this person might be, I try to think about why is it that I'm having this thought? Where is this coming from? What is the, why do I make this association? And I just try to sit back and observe how I am. And then I learn a lot about what I do and behave by doing so.
That's what we learned from meditation, right? That we just sit here and you watch the thoughts and you watch the judgments, and then you learn that they come and they go. Good practice. We should probably wrap up for some announcements. One more, and then announcements. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So this month's discussion reminds me, this year, January 1st, in the early morning, several friends of us planned for running in downtown Ann Arbor. We lay out a route marked in Chinese word house. So we were super happy. It's in the early morning. It was snowing. It's so beautiful. So just the 5 or 6 of us running around the road. And we don't know what had happened. There was a guy and he just screamed towards us, "You guys are crazy. It's so cold. Go get out of this country. This is not your place." And one of friends, I also particularly feel I got so judgmentally treated. And also I feel so scared. And one of friends wants to go back and talk. So we all say, we move. And then we keep running and we saw a car stuck in the snow. It was thought the driver was similar guy as they screamed towards us. And the guy, our friends who want to go back to talk to the screamer towards us, and he said, "Let us push this car out of the stuck place." So that day, or after the run, we just feel the judgmental people hold can make people really, it's just, that's, I come to this place to listen. A lot of time feel me safe with the Buddha land, with all you guys share. So, thank you.
Thank you. Good Dharma. Announcements.
Excuse me, can I grab a piece of paper?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We're so glad you're here. Who's here for the first time today?
Welcome.
Awesome. Great. Well, we hope you'll all join us after service here in the foyer for some tea. And I have just a few announcements about some upcoming events. First is that we have several opportunities to volunteer at the temple. We have what we call Together Action. It seems very apropos for today's conversation. And it is every Saturday at 3 to 5 p.m. And that is an opportunity to deepen your connection to the Sangha, make Dharma friends, and help maintain the temple's buildings and grounds. We're also looking for volunteers to help get ready for Peace Camp. And there's a special time for that, for loading the truck for Peace Camp. And that's this coming Thursday, July 30th at 5 p.m. So we hope you'll consider adding your name to the sign-up sheet, which is also in the foyer. So Peace Camp starts on July 31st at 6 a.m.
And what is Peace Camp?
Yeah, what is Peace Camp? Do we have
6 a.m.?
Do we have any other?
No. To carpool to Tantre Farm together to harvest produce.
Oh, okay. I skipped the most important part. It's not Peace Camp itself. It's getting the food ready for Peace Camp. Okay, that's very important. Thank you. Great. Is there any other announcements related to that? You show up here on the 31st and help get food ready. Awesome.
That'll be really fun. That's
Yeah.
Together Action, like of being with the Sangha and also getting your hands dirty, and the joy of beautiful produce that we pick with our own hands and then prepare and eat together at camp. Sorry, I didn't mean to take over.
We also have a very special service coming up on August 30th. And this is a special service held at noon in the Buddha Hall. And it's a special rite and service for those who have passed away and others missing from our lives through separation, loss, or estrangement. And if you would like to participate, you can sign up for this in the lobby. And do we have any other announcements related to Lumbala Day?
Just that if you have a question about Lumbala Day, which is the service that she's describing, you can ask me. I'll be leading the service.
Awesome, great, thank you. We are also looking for volunteers for our maintenance crew, which, as you can imagine, does all kinds of really important work around the temple. So if you might be interested in that, you can also, I believe, is there a sign-up sheet for that as well?
It's just a sign-up sheet.
Okay, great, excellent. We also have Qigong with Samata, Monday evenings from 6:30 to 8. The middle of August, from August 9th through August 16th, the temple will be on recess. So that means there will be no temple functions at that time.
Because we're all off playing dodgeball. It's recess.
Say the dates again?
The 8th through the 22nd. I just didn't change it.
The 8th through the 22nd. However, there will be Dharma recovery and together action. So there will be no Sunday service. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's 2 Sunday services.
Yes. So there will be no Sunday service for 2 Sundays those weeks. And in the fall, our family service will resume. And families with children are always welcome at public services. And that will start up again on September 13th. And we also have a handout of all of this on the table that you can take with you. Okay, so Recovery Dharma.
Recovery Dharma will meet at noon today in the historic Buddha Hall, the Yellow House in the library.
For today's Together action, if you're able to stay for about 15 minutes after the service today, we're going to meet in the backyard and we're going to move the tables, like plastic folding tables and plastic benches, up from downstairs, and we're going to store them against the back wall of the historic temple. It takes 2 people to carry a table. So if you're able to stay, we can get that done in probably about 15 minutes.
Lots of together action today. It would be wonderful if everybody could stay.
Mike yourself. Mike.
Okay. Let me start again. There's lots of together action right this time of year. So it would be wonderful if everyone could stay. Yeah. So in our round garden, Samata is going to be working with the Sun electrical system, which helps us to keep our dear groundhogs away from our vegetables. And so if you can come and help with clipping and trimming, this is the fellow to be with. I'm going to be in the front yard where we have a lot of watering and trimming to do too. So if you finish hauling tables and benches and have a little more time, or you choose to not do that, you could help with those. And then there's a safe in the basement of the historic temple, which is really heavy, and we don't have a use for it anymore. So we're going to try to sell it or give it to someone. We need it to be carried up onto the porch, and so we need a couple of people. And I could give about 10 other things that like that. You know, it's a time when summertime and the maintenance is great. So thanks for meeting us outside afterwards for a few minutes of your time.
Thanks to all. So let's stand and end the service with the 4 great vows and the 3 big bows. But as you stand, please Please smooth out your mat and cushion, and then we have some mat and cushion practice to do after we do that. Oh, yeah, we forgot to mention that the temple is in fact supported by your kind donations. You've heard about donations of time in Together Action. We are also supported by your kind donations of money. There is a fishbowl just outside the door as you leave the Buddha Hall. And there's also a QR code for Venmo donations. You can put cash in the fishbowl and you can use your phone to do the magical thing with the Venmo QR code. After we conclude the service with the 4 great vows and the 3 big bows, we will need to have the cushions stacked. Let's leave the cushions touching the rug in their places. And the other cushions, the cushions on my right, the mats are stacked up in the back corner, and the cushions in the stashy bookshelfy thing. And on my left, the mats go on the stage, and the cushions piled up next to them. And as you carry and stack the mats, please be mindful as you do that. The mats are different, have different shapes, and if you stack the ones, if you stack different shaped ones in the same pile, it will fall over. So mindfulness. Okay, let's end the service formally then. With the 4 great vows, please repeat after me. All beings, one body.
All beings, one body.
I vow to liberate.
I vow to liberate.
Blind passions, one root.
Blind passions, one root.
I vow to terminate.
I vow to terminate.
Dharma gates, one mind.
Dharma gates, one mind.
I vow to penetrate.
I vow to penetrate.
The great way of Buddha.
The great way of Buddha.
I vow to realize.